Oh, this pond is gonna be tough. I thought by coming up north, I wouldn't have to get to the pond at sunrise like I talk about down south in the summer, but I guess it still is the case here. I ain't happy, folks. Welcome to Tyler's pond fishing struggle bus. You know what, I'm doing it now. I'm gonna tie on a little 3/4 ounce punch rig. Bass fishing is all about making adjustments, and I really don't feel like I've adjusted at all today. So let's change that. No way, no way, get in here, get in here. That's what I'm talking about, baby. What's going on, folks? Welcome back to the 200 Pond series. My name is Tyler, and my goal, as the name would imply, is to fish 200 different ponds for bass and teach you guys everything I learn along the way. Now, I thought by coming up to the northern country, as you're gonna see where I'm at here in a second, I would escape the Texas heat, but it's just followed me. It is so hot and humid. But before we get started, today's episode is brought to you by Brunt Workwear. We're in the boots right here, and they reached out and said, Tyler, we see you pond hop a lot, and you trek through the woods in your flip-flops. You ain't gotta do that no more. So they sent me a pair of their Ring hybrid performance boots, and these things are legit. They are lightweight, incredibly durable, built with great materials, and they're still flexible enough for me to hop around the pond and go through the woods with. And the guy who designed these, his last name is Ring. He is a US Army veteran and a full-time lineman, so a lot more manly than I am. So you can trust these things are built to do manly stuff. And besides them being totally waterproof, which for me as a pond angler was a non-negotiable, they are incredibly comfortable, designed out of the box with no break-in period. So I literally got these out of the box a few days ago, pond fished. They feel great. On the Brunt Workwear website, they have tons of boots that are like this one, but also a lot of leather work boots as well, so whatever fits your style. And good thing for you guys is code TylersReal10 saves you $10 off your first order of boots. Or you can also scan the QR code you've been seeing over here on the side. So if you're watching on your TV or your computer, just whip your phone out, place your camera over the QR code, and it'll bring you right up with the discount code applied probably. And if you try them on your job site or your pond and you don't like them, go ahead and send them on back to get your money back. Brunt wants you to be happy with your purchase. I'm gonna be wearing these things in almost every 200 Ponds episode going forward, unless it's like crazy hot or it's not overgrown at all. But today's pond, as you can see, a little bit of overgrowth. So again, thanks to Brunt for sponsoring this video. Enough chit chat, and let's get down to fish this awesome pond here, pond 127. So as usual, we start out with conditions here at every single pond, and you can tell we have pretty dang clear water. It's kind of a staple of most ponds up north, but especially this one today. It is covered by cattails around the outside, has some submergent grasses. Matter of fact, let me try to snag some and see what it is. And it is, I don't know. Actually, I lied, I do know. It's some kind of a naiad, which is not my favorite type of grass. Really just kind of grows in clumps, gets on your lures. But I do see a little bit of cabbage and maybe a tiny bit of foil. So overall, it looks like a pretty dang healthy pond. I see a whole bunch of bluegill on this culvert that I'm standing on right here. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure there's like 5 bluegill beds right here. And so if bluegills are still bedding, the bass are gonna be somewhere around this area. Now, when I left, a guy had just left. He said the bite was tough today. He only caught one. So every spot that I fished today is gonna be already fished. But it's kind of funny, the lures that I'm selecting to throw, at least the ones that I had tied on from the truck that I'm not going to change to start, are the exact same ones I would throw in this situation in Texas. It's just equally as hot. I thought I would have nicer weather. And that is a bluegill vibrating jig, the tungsten thunder cricket, a topwater frog, the Mach popping frog. Thought that I would have more access to throw the frog. I'm gonna have to make some funny casts here to get to some good areas. The belly-weighted caffeine shad, my favorite skunk buster, and my second favorite skunk buster, an eco rig, the Mach stick. Now, as y'all can see from the drone shots, there's really not that much open area on the bank to fish. With the water level being high, I can't just trek through the cattails like me and Sobe did in that Minnesota episode. So today's episode is probably gonna be a lot less running and gunning, and a lot more trying out every single lure I can think of at every spot that's open. But I'm starting out with the tungsten thunder cricket. I like to go fast, then slow. And at pressured ponds like this, you have to make further casts and different casts than everybody else, because you can tell here, quite a few anglers use this spot, they don't clean up their trash. So I just gotta try to make bomb casts out there or throw different things, because I think these bass are probably used to seeing a few lures. All right, I fan casted with the thunder cricket. I'm gonna go with the frog next. And like I said, I don't have many casting angles here, so I'm gonna have to go over the cattails. And if I get a bite, I gotta give them the business. And now I can't see my frog, so I'm just fishing by sound. And I bet a punching bite would be good if I could, again, be on the water punching towards the reeds. I don't think they're gonna be on the shallow side of these. Yeah, I'm not sure if weather conditions like today are very conducive to a frog. Windy, sunny, and no good casting angles, probably not good. And you know what? Because of that, I'm actually gonna totally re-rig this rod. Yeah, I'm gonna take all the braid off this reel. And I'm gonna replace it with 20-pound fluorocarbon if I have some, which in the side compartment I do. Feed the line out of the little hole in my largemouth bag here and stick the spool in. Take off all the braid down to the backing. Of course, dispose of your line properly. Don't throw it on the ground. And start reeling on the new line. Put the frog away and grab the same exact swim bait that I caught him with Sobe in Minnesota. I feel like this one, just casting it out there, letting it sink slow to the bottom and retrieving it back might get me a big one in this wind today. And in clear water, I just prefer fluorocarbon over braid 99 out of 100 times, especially for swim baits. Oh yeah, bud. All right, back to it. And I tell you what, folks, it's getting dang steamy out here. Oh man, even a slow retrieve like that has it up on the top of the water. Shoot. I may have to shove a nail weight in this thing to keep it down lower, actually, because I'm pretty sure it's a good 5 to 8 feet out there in the middle, which I'm grateful for. In the summertime, I'd rather have a good deeper section of a pond, but it's hard to fish a swim bait like this that's weightless. That looks really good weightless, but to fish it well when it's that deep. Yeah, I can't keep this thing down there. I feel like today's episode so far is nothing but tackle change, tackle change, tackle change. Oh, and please tell me I have a Nico weight. No, darn it. Well, I've got one in my Nico worm. Thank you for your service, buddy. It's not exactly the type that I want, but if I shove it in enough, looks good. Does the action still look good though? Yes, it does. That'll help me keep it at least a little bit deeper. Oh, my casting distance just improved. Okay. All right, I haven't tried the skunk buster here yet, but I kind of want to change the scenery. So let's go find us a new place to set up. Well, not super open, but a little bit. Open enough to make some casts with heavier things. That's too hard to fish. Oh, a stump. And I feel like if I'm on a stump, I must give a stump speech. So, hear ye, hear ye. This pond is toughy, but have no feary. I have a feeling the bass, they are neary. I will not grow weary, and my eyes not teary. For the bass are neary. Yes, the bass are neary.
Are you sure about that?
Whoa. That's my standing ovation right there. How about the skunk buster? It is never too early to break this sucker out. Good grass, but no bass. Oh, there's a bass. Gotta get the wacky. I'm honestly glad I took the Nico weight out of this thing. Here he comes, here he comes. Eat it. Come on now. Oh, he turned away, no. Oh man, I think he left. He wasn't big, but he was a bass. I just couldn't fool him. Oh, this pond is gonna be tough. See, this is why I'm glad I have the boots I have. All right, another stump, another casting angle. More sunscreen on my eyes. This though feels like a good area. I think I'll catch one here. Oh, it's hot. So I'm just waiting on the bass to strike. Come on, man. I thought by coming up north, I wouldn't have to get to the pond at sunrise like I talk about down south in the summer, but I guess it still is the case here. Take advantage of the morning bite. I was just too tired from travel. Bad excuse. Skunk buster, maybe? Oh, no way. Oh my goodness. No, I had a bite. I ain't happy, folks, because I thought that on my way north to catch some smallmouth, I could just stop at a quick pond a subscriber told me about that he's caught big fish at and smoke them. Hasn't happened, but that is why they call it fishing. And I don't think this entire stretch right here I can access until way over there. Welcome to Tyler's pond fishing struggle bus. I am going to attempt to get on this stump here and make some skunk buster casts over the cattails. Like I said, you got to fish areas and make casts that probably nobody else at pressured ponds is doing. And I mean, like, it's kind of open here, but you can't make good casts over this. So I bet a lot of folks skip over it. I thought about it, and as much as I want to skip over it and have easier fishing, I can't do that if I want to catch them today. Gotta get way over there. The wind has shifted a little bit. I'm gonna get the thunder. Oh no! Right into the wind. That's a bad one, folks. But the good news is, if you want to watch my video on how to undo backlashes, I'll leave it down in the video description, or if you just search Tyler's Reel Fishing Backlash on YouTube, you'll find my 2-part series I filmed a long time ago, but I still use the same techniques today. This line is too old. All right, well, there goes 10 minutes of my life I'm not going to get back to not even get the backlash out. And I could spend time restringing this because I've got some extra 15 pounds, but I don't know if they're gonna bite this today. I mean, look at that grass, that's so good. This is the first place that I can actually make a parallel cast down the grass edge that way and have an open area here. So as far as like fishable spots This is the best one we've had so far. There's a bass right there. He's mocking me. Why? I just want to catch bass. And you know, I throw a drop shot, but it's just too grassy. So I think the weightless caffeine shad and the Nico are my two best options as far as finessey soft plastics go. I just wish I had a little more depth and maybe some open bottom. The drop shot could be effective. Like, I hate that I'm throwing the same things in almost every single pond video, but if it looks like this, there's really only a certain select number of lures that I trust and rely on. And some days they work, some days they don't. Oh gosh, there's like a 3-pounder right there. I was telling you guys, if I could get a punch rig in this stuff, that's probably where they are. Here, fishy fishy. Will an 1/8 ounce caffeine shad punch? Not quite. You know what, I'm doing it now. In the water column, caffeine shad can work. I don't need the swim bait. I'm gonna tie on a little 3/4 ounce punch rig to see if I can't go through these cattail areas and maybe catch one, maybe on a long flip to the outside edge, or heck, maybe even inside edge. Bass fishing is all about making adjustments, and I really don't feel like I've adjusted at all today. So let's change that. Heaviest weight I got, 1/2 ounce I think, and I need a bobber stopper, then the weight, 3/0 VMC red line, heavy duty flipping hook, and for the plastic, I'm gonna try to find a Mach craw if I've got one. Yep, summer craw, Mach craw. I keep telling myself I gotta be better at adjusting on the fly when I'm pond fishing. I do it fine in the bass boat because I can just sit down and open up my tackle collection in the boat and switch out. But a pond is a little harder, at least mentally. But I'm forcing myself today to do it, and I think I'm gonna catch one. Matter of fact, I'm gonna catch one. Gosh darn it. And I'm gonna leave the big camera behind. It's just a little too hard to keep setting that up after every single time I move, because with this technique, it's definitely gonna be a little faster. But after everything I've seen today, I really feel like this is the way to catch one. No way, no way, get in here, get in here, get in here, yes sir! Come on, that's what I'm talking about, baby. All it took was a little adjusting and we have a pond 127 success. Yes, I knew if I flipped something in where nobody else gets their lures, I would find one, and I'm so grateful for you. 1,000 kisses for you, my friend. Yes! Oh, there's nothing better than pitching in there and feeling just a thunk, and then it kind of like pulls backwards. Ugh. I had to go a little bit less pond conventional and more bass boat conventional, but you know what? The change resulted in a fish. Let's go. And honestly, this bank right now is a little bit better for punching than where I started about 75 yards that way because of all the snot grass, all the cheese you see on my punch bait right now. And all this stuff backed up on the backside of the reeds and pushing into the reeds, as opposed to what you see on the screen right here where I started flipping. This area just gives you a whole lot more stuff for the fish to be underneath, a whole lot more canopy. And I mean, that fish was not far in there. He was right on the edge, but if it was not full of snot grass, that fish would have no reason to sit there because it'd be open water. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm going to choose my punching locations to be, right here, but I can assume that if the ring of depth around the entire pond is the same and one area has more cover on top than the other, the bass are going to want to be underneath the canopy area, again, for this kind of a bite, as opposed to the more sparse areas. But just let this be a lesson that everything I teach on this channel, whether I'm in a bass boat when I teach it or I'm on the bank, can apply to you guys who are pond fishermen. I think punching is one of those things that most guys can't really get behind if you're a pond angler, but do not think that punching doesn't work at your pond. Because more than likely at certain times of the year, it does, and I'm so glad I made the adjustment and found success. Now, if you're curious about learning how to punch in your bodies of water, what gear is necessary, how to pick the good areas to flip, I will have my punching masterclass linked down in the video description. And I'm also going to do a video here soon on the channel. Matter of fact, it may be out. If not, I'll have it down below later on when it releases. And that's just a grass fishing masterclass, going over the science of grass, what different grass types mean for your body of water, and of course, best lures and techniques to fish around those. And I'm going to discuss punching in that video. Yeah, oh, that was one. That was one. Son of a gun. Oh, I didn't bring any more claws with me. No. Oh, what an absolute mistake. Man, I'm down one claw, and I had to bite off about 1/8 of an inch, so we gotta hope this can do. What a dummy to not bring any more Mach craws. All right, gonna go back and get myself a new craw, get all rigged up, and then finish the pond punching, because I mean, I've only gotten 2 bites today, and they've both been doing this, so why go back to anything else? And I'm fully convinced that the bass that are in these cattails here are just waiting for these bluegill on the beds on the bank to just make a mistake and swim a little bit too far in the cattails where they can't easily escape. And so even though the name of this lure is the Mach craw, I do not think it's actually imitating a craw. Matter of fact, I'm 1,000% sure it's not. In this scenario, these bass are just waiting underneath the overhangs, underneath the canopy, for a little gilly to make a mistake and come swimming by. Hi, buddy. Hi, bud. It's Daddy. I miss you, buddy. That always brightens my day. And FaceTiming my son always gives me some extra energy. Maybe I'll catch a 5 to finish the video. Or I won't get another bite and I'll go home happy that I at least caught something. There was a 5-pounder that was just cruising through here. Flipped at it multiple times, he nosed down on it and didn't eat it. Man, what a smart fish. Oh, that got me excited. I thought I was about to catch a giant. Well, they're in here, and that just tells me that any flip could be one of those. Like, you hate to see that and not catch it, but at least you saw it, so it confirmed the possibilities there. Last flip. And you know what? It's probably not all she wrote, but it's all I'm gonna write today. Well, as I've collected my rods in my backpack and we're gonna head back to the truck, I just can't help but reminisce on how today's pond went. You know, every time I fish, I wanna learn something. And today, my expectations definitely did not, reach reality even close. I just figured a northern pond looks like this, full of grass, and from what I hear, full of bass. And again, for me, it just didn't work out. And I've been doing this long enough to know that, like, it wasn't that I'm not a good angler. I know what I'm doing. I just didn't hit it on the right day. The fish were in a weird mood, but I'm glad that I was able to adjust and at least still get a few bites and get one bass to the bank. As always, my exact tackle I used in today's video will be linked down in the video description. If you want to watch my last episode in the 200 Pond series featuring Kendall Gray, whammy, it'll be a clickable video up here in this corner. Thanks again to Brunt Workwear for sponsoring this video. Again, code TylersReal10 saves you $10 on your first order of boots. I'm gonna get back to the truck, go give myself a cold water, and we'll see y'all next time on 200 Ponds.